Let's compare the nice guy versus the toxic guy again. What does the nice guy do? He agrees with everything the girl says no matter what, so there's no playful disagreements. He gives her no emotional highs. He gives her no emotional lows because he isn't willing to step out and actually make an outcome come to pass that'll actually affect her in any way, because he's always just trying to stay on her good side. He's staying within those parameters that he set for himself. He never takes any genuine risks. He does everything on a predictable schedule. He texts her every single time at the exact same time. He's always available. His validation comes at no cost. His compliments come at no cost. His attention comes at no cost. He gives it freely for no apparent reason, and he's doing it in order to get that golden star that he got when he was a kid by obeying the perceived authority. But he never gets the golden star. The person who continues to get the golden star is the toxic person. Now let me tell you why that is. Understand, the reason why they're so emotionally connected with this toxic person rather than this person that they're seeing every day and getting all this attention from is because emotional bonds happen on emotional highs and emotional lows. This is called emotional contrast theory. Basically, if you experience extreme emotions with somebody, whether in a really good way or in a really bad way, it's going to bond you together with that person no matter what, whether it's through hatred, whether it's through love, but it's going to emotionally bond these people. This is why those who go to the army and maybe hang around with each other for 7 days, if they were risking their lives for those 7 days, understand, they're going to become brothers at the end of those second days once they finally just relax and they get that relief. They finally get that low relief after being in that highly stressful situation, which caused them to become emotionally bonded together forever. This is why people never forget their army buddies. This is why people never forget their teammates that they had to grind all those hard ass sessions with, had to play in those highly intensive games with, had to be in all those stressful ass situations, getting yelled at by coach. These people were emotionally bonded together through these hardships. And though this was not a long ass season, it wasn't like it was a 6-year period. The fact is, the time that they did spend together was spent on emotional extremes. Therefore, they were emotionally bonded to a substantial degree. Now, what this person never gives is this contrast. He never gives any emotional highs and emotional lows. Emotional highs because he will never be able to surprise her ever, because he's the most predictable person ever. He would never be able to give her any emotional lows because he actually never going to tell her the truth. He's only ever going to tell her things that'll make him be perceived in a positive light, or what he thinks to be perceived in a positive light. So he never gives her any contrast, so she views him as being inherently boring. Let's look at the girl as being somebody with a remote, right? And different guys are the channel. When she turns to the nice guy's channel, what she's going to see is the fucking golf rerun from 2022, where you know what's going to happen. It literally says who won the championship on the bottom of the screen while you're watching the fucking game. And it's the exact same thing every time. But once she turns to the toxic guy's channel, nigga, it's Breaking Bad season 5. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. It's the crazy emotional highs, emotional lows. It's mid-season finales. It's unexpected deaths. It's unexpected twists. It's unexpected turns. Everything is just insane. Everything is just surprising her. She's getting pulled into this new world that is unbeknown to her. She's like, holy shit. That person fully has her emotionally invested in whatever game that he's playing. And even if some aspects of that game are extremely bad, she's still so emotionally invested that she'd overlook it. That's why I said they can get away with a murder, essentially. Versus this person can't get away with anything because he provides no contrast. There's no genuine connection. He isn't even being himself, so they can't ever even butt heads or meet anywhere. There's no contrast. There's no arguments. There's nothing. There's just simple hi and good fucking bye, bruh. It's basically like she's just texting ChatGPT the entire time. You're basically just ChatGPT chatbot trying to tell her whatever he wants. Okay, ChatGPT, tell me whatever I want. I want to hear. Basically, she's prompting you to be her little chatbot, and you're simply just going to stay in the seat of being a fucking chatbot while this person is getting whatever he wants. The other thing is that people don't value things that they're getting on a consistent schedule. They value things that are, 1, scarce, 2, that come on an unpredictable schedule. Now, this is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's one of the most powerful forms of manipulation ever. Basically, what intermittent reinforcement is a reward system that gives its rewards on an inconsistent schedule. So basically, what a casino would do is allow you to play that fucking game all day, right? And then it'll just squeeze a reward right here, right? But once you get that reward, you're like, holy shit. Now, what it does is it plays on the reward system in your brain, and it causes you to have a dopamine rush every single time you get that reward after not getting it for so long and after getting it unpredictably. So basically, you don't know when this reward is coming, but you know for a fact it's coming. And once you get the reward, you get a dopamine rush that feels so good, you basically just become attached to it. So emotionally attached to it, you will continue to play this game even to your own detriment. Niggas lose their houses, their cars, they go millions of dollars in debt, they lose everything, all just to feel that dopamine rush because they're so addicted to the reward that they're going to get. And the crazy part is, this is true with people too. This is why people who are in abusive relationships, though they're getting fucking smashed on, they're getting their phone thrown in the trash can, everything bad is happening to them, they're crying every single day, they're going through all these hardships, but once they get that inconsistent reward, that validation, that attention, that one glimpse of happiness, they get that dopamine rush, and it makes the entire journey worth it to them in their own heads. Even if they're irrationally aware of the fact that they're being manipulated, like the guy at the casino who's losing everything, like the girl in the abusive relationship. It's so addicting, and that person's reward that they're giving out is so addicting that they become literally attached to what's given to them. They're attached to the reward. This is why the behavior of addicts is relatively similar. They're basically just continuing to chase that rush even at their own detriment because they consider the rush to be that special. They literally rationalize in their head as to why the thing that they're chasing is so special so that they can continue to chase it. So they'll just rewire their brain to believe that you're special just because you're giving out these rewards on this inconsistent schedule. They'll rewire their brain to believe that this game that they're playing at this casino is worth it and that by the end of the game, they'll win everything back. They'll bring the fucking house down. Why is that? So that they can continuously play and get that same dopamine rush. They're not playing for the money itself. They're playing because the reward that they're getting is playing on the part of their brain, that dopamine reward system, to a significant degree, to a point that if it's even sometimes deliver on that anticipation for that reward, they just get that much more addicted to the game. It's fucked up. But understand, everything around you is created to pull you in emotionally and keep you emotionally invested. This is the reason why once you get on a roller coaster, there's twists, there's turns, there's unexpected loops, and you go slow as shit up that ride, right? You go slow as shit up that ride. It's doing that in order to build your anticipation. You're like, holy fuck, what's going to happen? It lets you see over the horizon, and then it delivers. Now, what you do is basically become addicted to the roller coaster because it's pulling you in emotionally in all these different ways. Pay attention to how the world around you is influencing you from an emotional standpoint and how it's designed to basically pull you in and keep you coming. This is why mid-season finales are a thing. And this is why TV shows understand that they need to only come out seasonally and not oversaturate the market with a whole bunch of crazy ass episodes, because they need to keep people wanting. They know that they need to make trailers, they need to make stopping points, they need to make cliffhangers so that they keep you emotionally invested. They know that contrast needs to exist on emotional highs and emotional lows, so they need to give you funny, great times, but they need to give you these hardships too. They basically need to take you on the hero's journey, the villain's journey, all these insane fucking journeys that have these contrasts in them in order to keep you emotionally invested. The same thing is true in relationships. This is why once relationships get stagnant and everything just becomes simply predictable, she becomes unattracted to this person and eventually walks out and or cheats. And this Mr. Nice Guy does not provide any of that fucking contrast. Therefore, he's always going to be seen as predictable, and they're never going to become emotionally bonded to this person because of that predictability. Versus the other person, though he may treat her bad as shit, he delivers on the emotional bonding standpoint. Consider all the hardships that the girl's being put through. Consider the guy's life that's being ruined by playing this game at the casino. Consider that the anticipation going up the roller coaster. But once that inconsistent reward is given on that way down, it seems like it's all worth it. It's like, yeah, you know what? All that bullshit was worth it. This is the highest level of manipulation possible. So what I'm telling you is this: use contrast wisely and from a morally righteous standpoint. Don't become the toxic person. You can still win by having contrast. These are simply just two extremes, but you can still live here if you catch my drift. Be a good person, but provide contrast if you catch my drift. Don't be some fucking weirdo who is always trying to be a people pleaser, because ultimately you will please no one in the first place, not even your fucking self, because you won't get any reward. Understand how perception works. Understand that you take people on emotional roller coasters to get them bonded with you in the first place. Understand that nothing good in life comes on a predictable schedule. You need to have some unpredictability. You need to be able to provide nuance, if you catch my drift. You need to be somebody who you'd want to watch in the first place. Think about it. Everything that you watch currently at the moment gives you that emotional roller coaster. It pulls you in, pulls you up, it pulls you down, it pulls you all these different places, and it just fulfills on the anticipation that it's saying that it's going to give you on that ride up the roller coaster. Once it goes down, it always delivers. The brain is only going to remember things that made it feel something on either emotional extremes. This is why the vast majority of the memories that you have with other people are going to be about the crazy situations that you had went through. You're like, oh, yo, remember that time? That shit was crazy. Even if it was bad, that shit was crazy, because you felt something on one of those emotional extremes, whether emotional high or an emotional low. But what you never fucking remember was just that fucking boring, bland ass day that nothing happened in. Understand that for you to be perceived as being extraordinary, you have to be outside of the ordinary. If you're just another part in a pattern of somebody else's life, you'll always ever just be another part of that pattern. But let's say you break that pattern, you're the person who breaks the pattern. Oh shit, who the fuck is this person? You'll be seen as being special, intriguing, and people will want to know more about your story. You'll be a phenomenal aspect of somebody else's story. Think about it. All the people that people speak of in an endearing way gave them that contrast. It pulled them somewhere. It gave them either an emotional high or an emotional low. They were unpredictable, and they were somebody that broke the pattern of their everyday life. If they only perceived them to simply be another part of that pattern, they wouldn't be perceived to be special to any degree. This is why if you're the most predictable person ever, like Mr. fucking Nice Guy, you're going to only ever be seen as another part of the pattern. In other words, are fucking relevant. So Mr. Nice Guy, be Mr. Kind Guy who tells the truth, who does what he wants to do, who provides contrast, who literally knows how to wield perception vision and doesn't live in the dark and faces his dragons and sees what's behind the shadow and pulls what's behind the shadow into the light to expose it to the light, to understand that he needs, I don't fucking know. But I was right.